Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. This is 5 Minutes with Urban Missionary Gabi GP. Today I'd like to talk to you about what I'm calling generation cohorts. And what are generation cohorts? These are basically classifications of different individuals that were born in a particular era or in a given time period that were influenced by the specific events that occurred in that particular time period, and also influenced the ideologies as well as attitudes and values that govern the individuals that were born or raised in that particular era. Why is this important? It's because it influences how we view the communication that's generated by that particular age group, but also how we interact with the different ideologies and philosophies depending on where we are, the time that we're receiving that information. And it's important for me to state that these ideologies are primarily embedded in the American culture or Western culture and influenced by the different events that occurred in that part of the world and how it spilled down into the different parts of the globe. So depending on where you're watching this from, you'll be able to have a point of reference and know how to interact with that kind of material depending on the generation that we are making reference to. So I'll start off with what is known as the lost generation. And I must say that in total, researchers will agree that we have about 8 generations. And of those 8 generations, about 6 of them are very much alive and active as we speak now. So now the lost generation, most of whom are dead and gone now, but they still influence the world through their productions, through their movies, through their writings, etc., etc. And these were individuals born between 1883 and 1900. And now you realize to say that different researchers will have different ages, but the difference will not be very significant. So why lost generation? Lost generation because the people that were born in this era, most of them got into adulthood at the time that the world was plunged into World War I. Now, the time that World War I came on the scene, it had an effect on people's view on life generally and life's values, because this was a time when, like no other generation, people at this time were exposed to millions and millions of deaths that occurred as a result of the war. A number of the men would have left their homes to go and fight the war, and a number of them never returned back to their homes. So we see that a number of homes would end up in female-headed households, fatherless children, and so on and so forth. And this had a significant impact on that generation, causing them to feel a sense of loss, a sense of lack of direction. They began to feel like they were robbed of the necessities of life, robbed of the joys of life, because what they would have seen previous generations enjoy was taken away in a couple of years simply as a result of the war. Why is that important to you and me? It's important because out of this generation come production writers, etc., with these ideologies and philosophies that will eventually have an impact on how you view life because of the way that they viewed life. So the lost generation writer will make very strong emphasis on certain things. They will not amplify certain things because they never enjoyed certain privileges during that time and during that era. And as we break down the different cohorts in the upcoming videos, you will notice that there are very significant differences in these different cohorts that ought to influence you or to influence me, even in how we make decisions, in how we interact with the different material that comes from the different generation. Whether you're a businessman, a marketer, an evangelist, somebody who interacts with people on a daily basis, you want to take an interest in how a particular writer or a particular producer is releasing information from a particular cohort because they're influenced by key events and things that happened during that particular era. All right? If you like this video, remember to subscribe, share, punch that notification button so that you stay in touch for more. Remember, possibilities are infinite. Only your thoughts set the limit. Move.